run a bit of an ad break. So we will start that here. And we'd like to give our thanks to the Yeti, supporting Games Done Quick events since 2012. You can get official AGDQ tees and more at theyeti.com, as they are the official merch sponsor for Games Done Quick. And that is THEYETEE.com. And we'd also like to give our shout-outs to MagFest, holding gaming events year-round with a flagship event every winter in Washington, D.C. MagFest holds video game music concerts all over the U.S. and the world. Their flagship event pulls in 20,000 people for 4 days of non-stop gaming and music. They are currently bringing MagWest back to Santa Clara coming summer 2018, and more info can be found at magfest.org. And we have $100 from Mizutsi. Thank you, AGDQ and Prevent Cancer Foundation. You both are creating a better world. And $50 from Jim. I missed most of this run, and I don't know what this song is, but I'll be a mediocre SNES RPG before I see an incentive go unmet. And there's a $50 donation from Your Friendly Mike that just says, "Love you all." And with that, it looks like we are ready to pass things over to our Legend of the Mystical Ninja with Countdown and Cleartonic. Take it away, guys.
All right, thanks everybody. I think before we get started, we'll just introduce us and the couch and what's going on. So this is Countdown, I'm cleartonic. Our couch is Matchbox Matt, Red Ninja, and Red Ninja Josh, and TK Faya. So these guys will be helping us out with commentary. And this is a 2-player co-op, so we may be talking with each other, kind of mumbling amongst ourselves, trying to make sure things are staying all together. But yeah, I think with about that, we'll get started. So count it down. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So, Matchbox, do you think you can just introduce this game generally for us?
Yeah,
Great.
sure. So, Legend of the Mystical Ninja is a really, really quirky, very Japanese-inspired game. There's lots of Japanese culture up the wazoo, and other references that Americans might not really understand. So, the game makers tried to kind of make it a little more accessible by replacing things like sushi and ramen with pizza and hot dogs. So,
So yeah, this is part of the Goemon series, which is fairly popular in Japan. There's actually 4 entries on the Super Famicom, but this is the only one that made it to the States and to the West. So yeah, this is, it's a 2-player run, and as we talked about a little bit before during our interview, we think this game's really cool because there's a lot of actual speed up tech from having 2 players on the screen at the same time. So we'll see that throughout the stages and the bosses. And we have to do a fair amount of money management through this run. It's actually a huge part of the run. We have to buy some things to be able to progress the game story. And money is also really valuable just for getting through a lot of the bosses in terms of just clearing bosses quickly. And yeah, so we'll be kind of monitoring that the entirety of the run.
Yeah, money can be thrown as a projectile, but it consumes your money, obviously. So
yeah.
It's really useful, but you have a limited amount, especially when you need to buy lots of things.
Okay, one of you guys want to talk about the boss quick?
yeah, so this is a ghost dishwasher later, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
she kind of throws dishes at you. They have to be careful to hit the dishes at them spaced out evenly, because if they hit all the dishes at once, some of the damage gets eaten. So that was really well done. It is really tricky to hit those every single dish just right.
Shouts the Windjammers.
So we are playing on the US or the Western release version. The Japanese version is faster, but we figured everybody would want to see the sweet dialogue between cutscenes. So
And the hamburgers.
and the hamburgers. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see some pizza, but I think that's about it for Americanized food.
Yeah.
So as far as story goes, they just defeated the ghost dishwasher lady, and the tiny little cute cat ninja just let them know that a princess has been kidnapped, and they have to go to the Empire to stop it, to rescue the day and kind of save Japan from the evil shogunate. So that's generally the story, and that's what they're going around doing. So you see that they just bought some sandals and some pizza. So sandals makes your movement in the overworld much faster, and also allows them to access certain areas that you normally wouldn't be able to, which you'll see a lot later on in the game when they're visiting treasure rooms. They also got pizza as a safety device, so if any of them lose all of their health, they'll get it instantly regenerated.
Yeah. So I think we should talk about 2 players specifically. There's a few things we'll point out through the run. One thing to just be aware of, compared to 1 player, the 2-player camera is adjusted much more so to the right. And in many areas in which you're going from left to right, it's actually a lot more challenging than you think compared to 1 player to be able to just see where the enemies are coming. So, yeah. So it's just something that we have to be aware of whenever we're in those side-scroller action stages. It can really be a challenge to just keep on top of where you are and if you're gonna hit somebody else.
Yeah, it really can't be understated how difficult it is to kind of manage having
What's the
2
song?
players on the screen.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah,
I was about to get hit.
that was a nice little save right there. The hitboxes with the enemies is really weird. They're really large, and especially when you have it kind of layered in the overworld in a non-side-scrolling fashion, you can never tell when you're going to get hit or not. So it's really like they have to be really careful to make sure that they don't spawn too much enemies. Enemies can only spawn if they scroll the screen. So whenever they jiggle the screen just from like their movement as 2 players, it causes a lot of kind of sense of randomness. They don't know what's going to really happen most of the times. So they're really thinking on their feet and trying to anticipate what enemies might be coming up.
One of the subtle things that 2-player did, or having a 2-player allowed us to do, is in that underground passage, we both walk down from the entrance and then split left and right. And actually, like, you can move closer to the camera, the border of the camera, when you hold A, and kind of break it a little bit, and you'll be seeing more of that later.
So here is a really tasty boss. It's a giant sumo wrestler with a ton of lanterns, and they have to kill all the white lanterns before they can attack the red lanterns, and then finally the gigantic dog head.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
something like that.
So the hitboxes on the lanterns can be really finicky. You want to jump up and drop down and try to hit a lot with coin, but it's very easy to get hit right here.
Oh, beautifully
wow.
done.
All right,
Very
you got
nice.
it. You got it.
Yeah. That is not easy.
Yeah.
Remotely. Oh, and they even got a little bit of a time save here. You'll notice that Goemon jumped over, that's the red dude, jumped over to the left so that they are actually going to exit the screen faster once they get through all this dialogue. This is one of the moments where the Japanese cart, it only takes a handful of seconds, but here you actually lose upwards
14.
Yeah.
14 seconds just to
Just
text.
for this, there's another 2 to 3 in the
Yeah,
text
yeah.
box at the beginning of the fight.
But we get all the Princess Yuki lore.
Yeah.
That was an insanely clean fight, by the way. That is one of the most challenging fights to really coordinate, because the main boss, that lantern boss, could just move, jump all over the place. They have to be really fast on their feet, and they knocked it out right out of the park. And it's not going to be the last time they see it either, so well done.
Yeah, one of the most annoying parts about that boss is when you hit one of the lanterns during the red lantern phase, it moves. Like it recoils, basically, so you can hit it into your teammate, and they do 4 damage, which is half your health bar. I had to double check.
So you notice right here that they're getting like little Easter eggs that are hidden throughout the game. Helps them store up as much money as possible. Again, money is super important, not just for mandatory story items to progress the game, but also as a projectile.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
can help them.
So check out this bridge section here. Ordinarily, you're supposed to just go up and, it takes probably like 15 seconds or so. Or we can
Nice.
just, do one of these.
Uh-oh.
Get a little stuck.
Uh-oh. Earthquake.
Scroll the screen a little bit.
There we go.
Nice.
Well done.
Do a skip. So yeah, in this game, something that's really cool about the 2-player run and exclusive to playing with 2 players is that, there's some tech where you can be at the different sides of the screen and scroll it in such a way that confuses the game and allows you to skip sections. So we're going to see that a little bit more. Maybe we'll explain it a little bit more thoroughly the next time we see it. But yeah, look out for those because we're going to see them a few times.
Yeah, that screen with the bridge is actually like 5 basically screen sizes on top of each other. That's like the length of the bridge. And we just skipped all of it. And there's like an annoying little octopus boss that rotates back and forth. And
All right, so these are the treasure rooms.
Yeah.
They can serve as shortcuts through some of the levels. They also have some extra health in the form of golden cats, which not only restore your health, but boost it a little bit as well. It only lasts for the level, though.
Like Matt was mentioning, you have to have 2 or 3 sandals to be able to jump over those 2 or 3 long sections of rocks. So if they take a hit in the overworld, that can keep them from getting those bonuses.
Yeah, hits in the overworld cause them to lose sandals.
Yeah.
But fortunately, in dungeons, if they take any damage, they get to keep them. So,
Well, and in this game, if you take a hit, even in the dungeon, you're going to lose the level weapon you have, which there are 3 levels of weapons. Your standard pipe or flute for Bisamaru, and then level 2 is a longer version of the pipe or the flute, and then the level 3 is either a spiked yo-yo or like a little party favor that has a little bit of distance, but is slower to come out and attack. So there's going to be some parts in the run where having a certain level weapon is vastly preferred just because of attack speed.
Yeah, level 2 is almost always more desirable than level 3.
Yeah.
Pretty much in every instance.
Yeah, you see how we're like at the 70% of the screen while scrolling? If you play one player, it's about 50%. That's what I was saying earlier. It really does make a difference. It makes predicting enemies hard.
Yeah, they try really hard to keep the one player in the center of the camera.
So like watch here, my weapon right now is level 3, but we're about to take a D-boost after we wait for this. And I'll go back down to level 2, which is the desirable weapon for sure. So quick section here, hopefully Countdown can make it.
That's fine.
I
Yes.
like how we just talked about, like, using pipes and spike DOUs as weapons. Like, that's just a
Normal
completely
thing.
normal thing.
Yeah.
For this universe of Goemon, I'd say it's pretty normal.
Okay,
Especially considering what we're about to do.
Hey, check
here
it.
See ya.
is another wrong warp.
Very nice.
Boom. Beautiful. So there's a couple different wrong warps that they can do. Whenever the first player holds the A button, it allows the screen to scroll much further than you would normally be allowed to. So they can actually space out in a way that confuses the game when one of them exits.
Wait.
So the X coordinate of the players that are exiting the screen can cause them to skip whole rooms or to wrong warp to locations they otherwise should be able to.
So on this boss, in the first phase, we're going to try to get a double hit on one of the later hits, but basically if the enemy's hitbox becomes active and there are multiple Ryo in it at the same time, multiple throwing weapons, the enemy can stack a lot of damage.
Oh,
Where were you,
nice
man?
double stack right there.
Alright, this one, we go. Let's see. So there, we
got
did
a
a
triple.
we got a
Nice.
triple there.
Each phase has 4 HP except for the last one, yeah.
Yep. And then this one, we can't really do much to speed this one up, but... Okay. And you can hang on the sidelines to be safe, but that's the boss.
Well done on that Japanese Mr. Potato Head.
Yes. I think this is a good time for donations.
Perfect. Well, we do have a few. There is $50 from I Ate Your Pie. Just
Hey.
wishing my boys Countdown and Tonic good luck on this The Legend of the Mystical Ninja Co-op run. Love you dudes, and I know you'll both kill it.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, bye. Streambig.net.
And $50 from Royal Blue Wizard. Gotta donate for my man Tonic. Let's stomp on cancer and throw yin coins for victory. Also a shout out to Squibbins and Meta Sigma. Awesome runs, both of you.
Thank you, thank you.
I can't unsee this now, but Josh was just mentioning before the run these carts that these enemies are pushing have babies in them and are shooting
You get it.
some projectile, and now I can't unsee.
Would you call them shooting pooping babies? Is that is that the official term?
Oh, almost had the perfect line.
Two quick ones. Alright, so here we are in Sasuke's stage, which is a friend of the Goemon universe.
Although not right now.
Not right now, yeah. I guess we are going to fight him. So.
So the stage is normally really, really long and really taxing, especially for one player.
Yeah.
What they're doing right now is actually the harder way of doing this. At the beginning of every single mission, you can kind of choose if you want to do one player or two player going into each mission, and it's a little harder with two, but they're doing it really well. And they're also about to do another wrong warp. It's tremendously risky because it's also
okay,
on
yeah.
floating platforms.
You got it.
So you have to kind of not die and pull this trick off at the same time.
Yeah, this one saves so much time.
Nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Very easy to walk off that platform if the screen's not
Yeah, there's
correct.
just a pit under there, so I could have died very easily there.
Yeah, they just skipped 2 minutes worth of level, so that is really well done.
You're essentially like summoning the door, which is on the right side of the screen, just way up.
I got it.
You're up front.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sasuke.
Nice. Got a double to
job.
finish it off.
Yeah, so if you think about the skips, if you think about like a square, and if you go from the bottom left of the square to the bottom right of the square, and the exit of a level would be at the top right of the square, the game gets confused if you're at the bottom left and do the screen scroll, and just sort of assumes that you would be anywhere along where the exit could be on the right side. So it just says like, yep, you're within this distance on the X coordinate, so you can just warp past it. Okay, going into the park section, which is our first instance of the piggyback, but I think, how's our health looking?
We're both freshly pizzaed.
Cool. Freshly pizza.
So up and left.
Oh, freshly pizza, dude.
So,
Oh yeah.
well,
Go ahead.
well, normally in this stage, you have to buy a pass from the store,
Oh, yeah.
which is $980. But they're going to do a skip right here to bypass this Tanuki statue,
Try it again.
so that they don't have to present the pass and don't have to spend that money.
Yeah. So we were saying before, and that's exactly right, that Rio management is a huge part of it. And ordinarily, when you play one player, you have to both get the pass here, and you have to get a text later on.
Is this it?
Hopefully.
Yeah, there we
Nice, well
go.
done.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Take second try.
So now they're gonna go piggyback here.
So-
But yeah, we skipped all that Rio, having to spend 980. But yeah, here we are, park stage.
So one character can focus on movement and one can focus on attacking the monkeys. It does make their hitbox a lot larger, so second player can take damage if they jump into one of these birds, which are just really, really tenacious. They'll dive right after you.
I just want to say that this is one segment that I've always done the platforming for, and Tonic's always done the attacking for. And we tried to switch it up yesterday, and I gotta give him mad props because there's so many enemies on that screen.
All right, ready? Check it.
Woo!
Suicide
Nice.
Nice.
Another skip.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, here we go. You want to explain this boss a little bit?
Oh, well, okay. So it's the Kabuki Theater. This guy shoots rose petals, which are now falling at them, and they're just trying to kill the guy and get him to his next phase as quickly as possible. You can see them, they're trying to coordinate their attacks so that both of their weapons are on him at the same time. That causes double damage, also known as a double stack. It's the same kind of principle with using coins, throwing multiple coins, and that was really, really well done. It can't be understated.
Yeah.
How difficult some of the stuff this is. They're really coordinating, they're right on the same page, and they have to throw their weapons out at the same 1 or 2 frame window in order for it to register as a double stack. So the fact that they're doing that without really communicating is just, they are
the same brain, dude.
synchronized. They are a well-oiled machine.
That was a little tough. Countdown had a level 3 weapon, and it just makes it that much harder to time it, but he was able to do it, which is cool.
Yeah. And that boss actually does like quite a bit of damage, so it's not really an option to damage boost off of him, but luckily I took damage from one of his projectiles, which only do 2 damage, so touching his body does 4 damage, so and that fight can go really wrong.
So this stage is, like, on paper quite simple, but this beginning section, the water has some really janky mechanics. So we're gonna try not to get hit, but basically, if you're in the water and mashing A too much, you can take a ton of damage. Yeah, you can hear us. So, I mean, like, this happens often, so
Yeah.
kind of expect it.
The water has super crazy kind of physics. I mean, it kind of sucks you in, and it randomly damages you. So you don't know if like you'll contact it for like maybe a fraction of a second and it hurt you, or be there in a second and it not do anything. So anytime they get hit, remember that they lose some of their weapon power, which can be a real inconvenience. And also die. So.
Yeah, how about that? I'm gonna grab this.
We're gonna pick up
Yes.
the golden elephant, which
Trying to be safe,
just acts as a
nice.
checkpoint.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
Good. Yes. Cool.
There's another cat in there, golden cat, so
Yes.
there's 2 that are really easy for us to grab. And so we don't really have to worry about health, except for the first segment. You can just run under him.
This is a fairly simple boss. I'm just gonna throw Rio at him. We're doing pretty good on money, so especially you, yeah. Saving up, man.
More like not wasting it.
That's right, thrifty. I gotta save it from here.
Oh, I've
got it.
never seen him do that.
Yeah,
don't
we
think he's,
usually
like,
kill him in time, yeah.
Fast falling like that. That's
Yeah, we're
insane.
fine. Okay, cool. So we are going to the penultimate stage, second to last stage. And this is where, so technically what we're doing is playing what's commonly known as low percent, which just means that you're not doing any gambling. So in the beginning of the game, around like the 4 or 5 minute mark, you can decide to spend money to gamble, in which you just put 100 Rio in and you either get 50, 100, 1,000, or 10,000, but the odds are not in your favor for no reset setting. So we decided to just do, no gambling route, which is commonly known as low percent. The gambling category is a little bit quicker, and which is why it's just known as any percent. But definitely for a marathon, it makes sense for us to not do it. But we also think like it adds some element of I guess, what's the word? Sort of like thriftiness that we have to really just managing our money throughout the entirety of the run. So, so what we're doing here is we're going through these treasure rooms just like before, and this is where, the reason I started bringing this up is that this is where the route deviates the most, in that it makes sense for, you have to come here if you're doing low percent to grab all of this money throughout these sections, because otherwise you need to be able to forward the text, which is 980 Rio. This is what we skipped before when we were in the park segment. We didn't have to buy that 980 pass, but here we do have to buy it. There's no way to skip it.
Yeah, the Goemon series is kind of famous for having, like, basically money lockouts. Like, have you been not blowing all your Rio? Here's this obligatory item that you need to progress, but it also costs, $1,000 or whatever. And so there's no shortage of that in this game. There are 2 instances, actually. And this one we unfortunately cannot skip. But yeah, like Tonic was saying, if this were the any percent route, we'd have the money already.
Yeah.
Because they usually get like 2,000 Rio. But yeah, so now we had to do that, but now we're continuing on.
Yeah. And if you notice too that we got some golden cats along the way, we've been collecting them throughout the run. Golden cats restore all your health and give you +2 health for the remainder of the stage that you're on, which is actually really nice. You can just see how like beefy our health is right now. All right, we're gonna be very careful here. I need to buy the text and not waste my money otherwise.
Nice.
We're
yes,
good.
well
We did
done.
it. We're good.
Nothing is worse than killing a run by accidentally buying something you don't need and then having to grind for a second.
Yeah. Because the alternative is that you buy something wrong and you waste your money and you have to sit outside and defeat the enemies.
That was actually something we had to do when we were first starting out, because we'd usually take a game over in this stage, like an on-purpose game over.
All right.
And farming sucks.
They're going to skip. Normally you would have to go and speak to the person that's on the left side of the screen, but as long as you have that last pillar across the center of the screen, you can now go on to the dungeon. If you don't trigger that, they're going to go and attack the statue, and if they don't trigger it, then the statue won't bust open.
Yep, and they got it. So the story is that you're in a foreign world and like no one really speaks your language, your dialect. So you have to get this Bible, this translation Bible, and that allows you to talk to the Emperor. But you don't have to talk to the Emperor. You just need to scroll the screen just far enough to hit the trigger.
Yeah, that's kind of the worst part about it. We don't ever end up talking to him anyway. So like, why do we need to farm money for this text? Who cares?
All right, we got another piggyback section coming up. This time. Oh, if you didn't know, Countdown is playing Goemon. Well, you can probably tell now. Countdown is playing Goemon, and I'm playing Ibisumaru.
Go faster.
It's an incredibly tough room there with the jumping up the ladder and those little falling platforms.
It is so clean. They're so good.
Very easy to fall off there.
Yeah, so many things, like in this platforming section, so many things can go wrong. Because they're 2 players, again, it's even harder than 1 player because the way that it scrolls through some of those screens gives different timings for when you need to go through that room. Some of the rooms in single player, you can just like hold forward and never change. But here, they really have to like manage their steps and watch out for enemies. So upcoming is a scary, very scary part.
Another tough platforming room here.
Yeah, we decided to purposely kind of delay ourselves so we don't trip each other up.
Very good.
All right, we're good, we're good.
It's all good. Oh.
That's cool.
Oh, I thought you were on level 2.
Oh, I got hit and still at level 3, yeah. Okay. Yeah, take it away for this boss.
Yeah, so now they have lifesavers, the lifesavers boss, because it looks like lifesavers, and they have to kind of coordinate their attacks so that they hit the guy without, you know, making him shake in random directions and accidentally hit the other person. It's a little unpredictable. It seems like pretty simple, but you never know if the computer will get temperamental and start throwing something your way.
This guy is...
When you hit him with an attack, he is flashing, and you know you gotta wait for him to stop flashing, and he'll just fly toward you.
Yeah, they just hit him, and then you saw it like shot towards them even faster. So
Yeah, it's really easy to like sometimes when you hit him, he ricochets in the other direction, and sometimes he's already started moving so fast back towards you that, you know, even if you hit him, he doesn't stop. So anyway, I'm gonna need
Party boy.
party boys. Gonna need some quiet time here.
It's okay. Alright. Yeah, it's cool. We're trying to get it on each other's backs, but it's
What?
landing. It's okay. Let's just try to make it work.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, it's fine. It's a little sketchy, but you know, what we tried to do is mount, or he tried to mount on top of my back, but that section it always kind of causes some problems. Sometimes it's okay. All right, let's try to get this jump. This is a tight one. Oh, baby.
nice.
Yes.
That was a sequence break. They just skipped half of the platforming.
Yeah, so it's weird. That part is weird because normally like the little minecart we rode is in 3 different sections, and I try to abuse that fact when it's on an upward slope,
That's fine. All right.
so that I could just walk onto his back, which usually works.
Yeah.
But it
every
didn't
now
that
and then
time.
it causes problems. It's
Yeah.
just a pain, but that's fine.
That was
Just
an
had a little-
amazing save.
Yeah, we go around in circles. Right? All right, this boss, we gotta try to
need to
get
move to the left
2
a
quick
little more.
ones. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nice, hardest
Nice
boss
job.
in the game.
That is actually a really difficult
Okay.
boss, and if it goes wrong, it's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. So even though we did death in that stage is like the worst the game over in by far, and this is the final stage now. And yeah, Princess Yuki, thank goodness. You would think we're good, right?
Yeah.
It's the old
Not
the
quite.
old Baramos factor. Think we're done? Oh no.
Oh, no.
Ha ha ha.
Hee-ho.
So I am 1 life away from game overing, and like most kind of 2-player arcadey style platformers of this era, I can steal one of Tonic's lives, which is fine. But the only thing is I will have level 1 sandals and no money. So while that's not the end of the world, it definitely sucks. So I'm going to try my best to not die.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money right now, so hopefully he can use that, which will be really beneficial for the final boss stretch.
Yeah, money equals fast
Yeah.
in the final boss segment.
Yeah, so right now they're about to talk with the real Emperor, not the one that was disguised. And that opens up, it hits a trigger and allows them to
ya.
progress the story. And now they're supposed to go back to their original cell, but they're going to go there a little different.
Maybe.
And
Nice.
yes,
Nice, good job.
So
Okay,
they did
hold on,
another
I'm
wrong
You
warp.
gonna do it?
Yeah, maybe. Hey! See ya. So if we both do that, we soft lock. So I had to make sure that he was by. But yeah, it's flying this tomorrow.
Yeah, whenever we do that warp, it seems to put us on like the coordinate 0, 0. And so most of the time that's in a wall or in a ceiling.
So they can break these red blocks faster by doing an attack and immediately pressing the jump button to cancel out of the attack animation and just get through that little stretch faster.
Yeah.
Or down, actually. Down also works, we figured out. And that was kind of our I didn't know B worked until you told us yesterday. Down is actually what we had been using this whole time.
All right, this stage is crazy. There's milk jug throwers. We think they're milk jugs. Maybe we
I
don't
hope they're
know.
milk jugs. Thank you.
There's a couple golden cats in some strategic places is going to help them out.
Okay, getting through it. These guys just spawn like crazy. All right, so we're gonna do a
Beautiful.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
We're gonna do yay skip.
Yeah.
So, Ninja Woman Yay here, who apparently has blue hair in this
Get the
game.
yeah.
She ordinarily stops you for text box for like 5 text boxes or something. You get on me.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but what they do is that they were walking up that hill spaced out so that the screen never fully scrolls up for the text box to appear. So it just doesn't.
Just go. Or that. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Neither of us really needed it, and dismounting actually takes like quite a bit of time. So, but yeah, we skipped the EA cutscene.
It's another difficult platforming section with the clouds there. Some disappear, some don't.
It's a run killer. They just like beasted it.
All right, here we go. Final stretch. So we're gonna see. This is good old Mega Man refights.
Yeah, it's a little boss rush. They're gonna fight the Lantern Dude, Mr. Potato Head, and then the final boss.
Want to
Good
get this
save.
up? You got it. All right.
Oh,
Oof. Yeah, you never know if he's gonna start walking or jumping
I
around.
can get this.
Nice. Good job.
Nice.
Well done. Woo! Yeah, that was a lot of double stacks, triple stacks. Well done.
all right, I have level 2. You want me to hit?
I think I'll do it. All right, you don't mind. Yeah, you have money. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Definitely.
Double there.
Another double.
All right, final boss. So he's got 2 phases. Actually, I'll let you guys
Yeah.
take it away.
The first phase, actually, today was the first time I've seen the Emperor riding on this cat dragon thing in the Japanese cart. For some reason, the sprite is not there. You can hear him, you can hit him, but he's not there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a garbled mess of
Yeah.
random pixels, and sometimes Japanese characters show up and numbers and whatnot.
Yeah. So this is a really clever strat. You see Goemon locking the cat down. Like normally it paces forward, but it stays in place as long as it's getting hit. And then Abysmaru is knocking those arrows into the enemy. It's the only way to damage him.
Let's do it.
But in a weird twist, anytime you hit an arrow, there's a chance that you get this glitch, and gives their weapons the property of the arrow. So they're actually scoring some extra hits. And now this is the final phase. It comes down to this.
Perfect.
Nice.
Wow.
Well
Get
done.
ready on time.
Time is when the screen transitions, when the last screen shows up, and time.
Time.
Good.
GG.
All right.
Marathon 32. 32:52.
what's up, man.
That
That's
is
a good
an
time.
Wow.
incredible time. This game is so tough, and these guys, they were just in sync.
They
were
made
flipping
this
killing
look
it.
so easy.
Seriously, this game is incredibly difficult.
It's so not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time practicing and preparing. So we don't live close to each other, so we played online for a bit, and we scheduled some meetups to practice for this game. But overall, like super cool experience. Can't recommend doing a co-op run with somebody.
Absolutely.
So it was great. And thanks a lot to our couch and everybody who supported us.
Yeah, all 3 of these guys on the couch have contributed to this
Yeah.
run, 1 player or 2 player in some way, and are all talented runners of this game themselves. So thank you guys for being here and supporting us.
Cool. I think that's it for us. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Well done.